Imagine sitting in a barber shop, expecting a quick trim, but what happens next is nothing short of shocking. A racist cop, fueled by prejudice, takes it upon himself to humiliate a black woman, shaving her head without consent, as if her dignity is his to strip away. The woman, powerless in the moment, is left in disbelief and shame. But this story doesn't end there. Enter her son, a sharp, determined lawyer, ready to fight for his mother and bring justice to a situation that never should have occurred. Within minutes, he takes action, using the very system designed to protect, to make sure his mother's rights are upheld. Will he succeed in holding the cop accountable, or is the system too broken to deliver true justice? Stay tuned to find out. This is a story of strength, resistance, and the power of one person's fight against injustice. The woman, now sitting in stunned silence, tries to process what just happened. She had come in for a routine haircut, but instead, she was humiliated by a man who was supposed to uphold the law. The cop, smug and unapologetic, left her with nothing but tears and a shaved head, a symbol of his unchecked power and prejudice. What he didn't know was that this woman wasn't alone in her fight. Her son, a young but fiercely intelligent lawyer, had dedicated his career to standing up for those the system often silences. When she called him, her voice shaking with anger and pain, he immediately dropped everything to be by her side. As he listened to his mother's story, he felt a fire ignite within him. This wasn't just about his mother. It was about every person who had suffered in silence. But how could he take on someone who seemed untouchable? The son arrived at his mother's home that evening, carrying more than just a legal pad and case files. He carried her pain. As she recounted every detail, the tremble in her voice was matched by the quiet fury in his eyes. It wasn't just the cop's actions that angered him. It was the audacity, the belief that he could act without consequence. This wasn't just a random incident. This was part of a larger pattern, one that couldn't be ignored. But this case was more complicated than it seemed. The cop, a respected figure in the community, had a clean record on paper. Witnesses from the barbershop were hesitant to speak up, afraid of retaliation. The son knew the odds were stacked against them, but that only fueled his determination. He began digging deeper, uncovering stories of similar abuses buried in the shadows. The question wasn't just if they could win, but at what cost. As the son worked tirelessly, he started to connect the dots. This wasn't the first time the cop had used his authority to intimidate or demean. Hidden complaints and whispers of misconduct began to surface, painting a chilling picture of someone who believed he was untouchable. The more the son uncovered, the more determined he became to bring the truth to light. He knew the stakes were high, not just for his mother, but for anyone who had been silenced by fear. Meanwhile, the cops started to feel the pressure. Rumors of a formal complaint was spreading, and he wasn't about to let his reputation crumble. He used his connections, trying to shift blame and discredit the woman's story. Suddenly, the battle wasn't just legal, it was personal. The mother and son prepared for their fight, knowing the courtroom wasn't just a place for justice. It was a stage where the truth would finally be revealed. Just days before the court hearing, a shocking discovery changed everything. The son uncovered security footage from the barbershop, grainy but undeniable proof of what happened. The video showed the cop forcibly shaving his mother's head, his face a mix of arrogance and cruelty. This was the break they needed, but with it came a new challenge. The footage mysteriously disappeared from the barbershop system overnight, and the owner claimed he had no idea how it was erased. Someone was working behind the scenes to cover the cop's tracks, and it wasn't hard to guess who. The stakes had never been higher. Without the footage, their case would rely solely on witness testimony, which the cops' lawyers were already working to discredit. But then, an unexpected ally emerged. A former colleague of the cop who had his own story to tell. Would his testimony be enough to tip the scales? Or was this battle far from over? The courtroom was tense as the trial began. The son, calm but unwavering, presented the case with precision, recounting every detail of his mother's humiliation. Witnesses from the barbershop hesitated at first, but one by one, They stepped forward to share what they had seen. The cop, sitting across the room, looked confident, as though he believed his power would shield him. But then the unexpected happened. The former colleague took the stand. His testimony didn't just confirm the cop's actions, it revealed a deeper history of abuse and cover-ups within the department. The courtroom fell silent as he detailed incidents that had been buried for years. The son seized the moment, connecting it all back to his mother's case, proving this wasn't an isolated incident. Just when it seemed justice had been served, another twist emerged. An anonymous tip led to the recovery of the erased footage, which was played for the court. The cop's smug expression crumbled as the video showed the truth, leaving no room for denial. The verdict? Guilty. But the fight didn't end there. The case sparked a wave of reform, ensuring others wouldn't endure the same. Justice was served, but the story left a powerful message. Silence doesn't win, courage does. As the gavel struck and the courtroom emptied, a wave of relief washed over the woman and her son. Justice had been served, and the truth had finally been heard. The cop was held accountable, his career in ruins, and the department faced scrutiny like never before. For the mother, it wasn't just about winning the case, it was about reclaiming her dignity and proving that no one is above the law. The son, exhausted but proud, reflected on the journey. This fight wasn't just for his mother, but for countless others who had endured injustice in silence. Their story had sparked change, inspiring others to stand up and speak out. As they walked out of the courthouse together, the woman smiled for the first time in days, her head held high. It wasn't just a legal victory, it was a reminder of the power of resilience, truth, and unwavering love.